This is Martial Arts Explorer, exploring practical techniques as derived from classical forms of all styles. I'm Scott Combs. Last spring, we were invited to the Kyusho Jitsu Kenkyukai annual gathering in Madison, Wisconsin. And who should we run into but Senior Master Instructor Dusty Seal. This time, Master Seal is teaching a flow drill taught to him by Black Belt Hall of Fame instructor and founder of Modern Arnis, Remy Priesas.
I'm going to teach a flow. I'm going to go through a flow drill, because then tomorrow I can start showing you how to do the flow drill, but then it'll teach you how to counter each one of the moves. Once somebody starts to put that move on you, you'll learn how to counter the technique. And then I can show how you do everything. You put that technique onto the ground, because everything that we do standing up is exactly the same on the ground. So you take your kata and you do all your movements standing up. Then you lay yourself on your back. The guy's on front of you. You do all your movements there. You lay it as you took him down. He's on his back and you're on top of him. You do your movements. It's the same exact thing. It's just the only thing that changes, people can't grasp that, is that, you know, we get so used to standing up. And karate guys, they don't want to go to the ground, do they? You know, everybody that knows how to do karate is a good jiu-jitsu person. They just, once you see it, then you'll understand. You just do your movements on the ground, and we can make most jiu-jitsu people tap and scream pretty good. So everybody here is familiar with doing an armbar, correct? Don't get hung up in the names. What I want everybody to do first is we're going to go in like this. We're just going to do armbar, right? So from here, I don't care how you get into it. If you do pass it through, brush grab, if you do it off of a cross hand grab, whatever. But I want you to get into armbar. So from here, we're going to do armbar, but then this is the movement. Once you do armbar, get the person down a little bit. The hand that's up here on triple warmer, the hand that's on his hand is going to help pass. The hand that's on triple warmer, keep it straight and help pass it through. Once it comes up to here, you guide it into your elbow. Take this hand, make a fist, and put it back on triple warmer 11. So Professor Priesas called this compress elbow because you're compressing it. It's all really the same thing. You're just doing an armbar, just a different version of an armbar. So you go from armbar to this type of armbar, a compress elbow. If you're smaller, I like to do my hand like this, and then I lay it flat first, so it's the meaty part, covering up triple warmer, and then I let the ulnar bone dig into it as you do it. It's a natural movement, but all you're doing is doing that type of movement. So for right now, go armbar this direction, pass it around, and come up here. What it'll teach you is how to stick to the person. Because if I just let him turn, that could happen. His hand is in here. Now we're in a totally different technique that we got to do. So you got to learn how to control and move to where the hand is. Have I showed anybody or talked to anybody about this? When you grab the hand down here, make sure, you know how we're karate jitsu, so all we do 45-degree angles. See how I'm grabbing the hand? When you lock into the wrist, you cut it at a 45 like this. If you cut it like that, you can only get one point or the other. You can't get both. When your hand comes down at a 45, you can lock in on both. But it's a natural thing. Everybody here has swung a baseball bat before, right? That's what the end of the baseball bat is for. It doesn't let your hands fall off of it. The hand is the same thing. This is a baseball bat. See how it gets small here at the wrist and then the hand pops back out? That's so I won't slide off of it. You jump right into it. So when you're here, it's a natural movement and you fall right on heart 6 and lung 8 every single time. So when you're in that angle, that's where you got it locked. But then this is what's important, is for the bend of the wrist, is your cover. So when you go to do throws and stuff, you automatically have him locked here, and you can re-grab as the person falls. If you, we'll do it easy because it's hardwood floor. But say I was going to do armbar, right? The way he gets out of the armbar is he pushes his elbow towards me. That's why you have your hands already in that position. So as he goes, it's there for you to grab already. If you actually have your hand cutting across, making the plus sign, you can't do that quick. You won't be able to get into it. It's that 45-degree angle That's what allows you to get back into it and move him. So you keep your hands at a 45 at all times so you can constantly torque, lung 8 and heart 6, and then bend the wrist. So everybody's seen people do movements like this, right? That type of stuff. It's hitting with that. Boom. That shot, once you get that hand, once you're in a position where you can't bend anymore and it's awkward for you, that's where you take your own wrist and apply the pressure. It gets them locked into that backward throw. So just what you're doing right now, arm bar, pass it through, be conscious, make sure the elbow is still up, and you're right here. Either do it like this with your knuckles here, compress where you're pushing in, or this direction. But this hand, keep it stuck in the crook of your elbow, okay? All right, everybody try that for me. Thanks, Mike. I hope everybody heard me when I was talking a minute ago. It's hard for us, because we're all karate guys, right? Traditional karate guys. Pound through it. Yeah, everyone, Wally, Remy, George, Leo, everybody pulled me off to the side as a kid, and they said, do it slow. Do it slow. Because traditional karate guys, we want to be strong and hard with it, right? But then we also want to do it quick. The only way to achieve real quickness is by practicing it slow, because it doesn't make a difference how fast I am if I'm hitting all over the place, right? Aim small, miss small. That's what we want to do. So the only way that you get that aim small, miss small is by looking at it, bam, that's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. So if I'm doing it this, I want to just be able to actually feel and move, get right there into that each individual point, because I'm teaching muscle memory. My body is learning naturally how to move and do it. Get out of the way, rotate, get back into it, you know. Because when you're in this stage, this close, there is no feet shifting now. In our niche, you got 3 levels. Level 1 is out this way where only sticks can touch. But that's where everybody starts. And when we swing the stick with this, you step. When it comes from this side, it steps. But it's teaching you triangle stepping, how to cut the angle. When you're this close, sticks, feet, and hands can touch. Still, you have time to step. When you're this close, where it's everything can touch, I don't have time to step. My step now is to just shoot straight through and take a leg out, to do something like that. I don't have time to do the beautiful parry, 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 you know, getting into that direction. So the same thing with this, we're this close now. Make sure you still think about your initial entry, because the guy's reaching for you, he's pushing, he's grabbing, he's doing something. Do your initial entry. Make sure that you feel that little bump right there, and then let off of it. Let off of it so you know it was there. You're still practicing it, but now, because I don't want you to go like this, you know, and be like all legs off balance and everything out of whack, you know, but you got to make it natural for yourself. So just look at all this stuff here. Can I go on to the next move? Sure. Right? It's a little quick, but I don't want you, that's what I said, I don't want you guys getting the fine tuning down. Just get the general scope of things down. So we went arm bar, this type of arm bar, compress elbow or this type of arm bar, shoot over, shoulder lock. Your next movement is called a mobility throw, but you're going to actually do it incorrect so you can continue to play. When we do a flow pattern, you like to just play. A real mobility throw would be taking this guy, this hand goes down, this hand comes up. I'll do this very slow, okay? And you step out and back as you're lifting this up, and there's your hole. Boom. That's your mobility throw. A little bit bigger step, a little bit more of a wind, but it's just a mobility throw. When you get into mobility throw, if you step and give your body angle and step and shove, there's no stopping, right? There's no stopping that from happening. But if you jump right into mobility throw, what you want to be doing is tapping and stunning and then shooting across. So what we're going to do, since we're from this position, you're going to do the mobility throw, but guide his head through. Guide his head and let him walk on up. This is what's important. I'm sticking to my opponent. All right? So we're back here again. Shoulder lock. Mobility through, guide through, but now I want to move with him. So now we're facing opposite directions, side by side. Everybody's like, what in the world? Arm bar, compress, shoulder lock. Mobility throw, but incorrectly, because we're letting him, we want to play. Watch his hand. When I do this hand has to continue. He's facing that direction. Remember, you want to face the opposite direction he is. Come back to here. So it's a side-by-side throw. When you do side-by-side, the only thing that's important is that you place your hand on his pinky knuckle. Do not do it like this, because look, we're in the same exact position. Right? I didn't do anything with him. I was being a smart butt and just playing. I just went from one technique to another to another to another and just made him mad. And now I set myself up in this position. Right here, it's, you know, a chess game. It's whoever can close their fist and turn it faster, this direction wins. So you naturally just put your hand like this every single time. Okay? Arm bar. Compress. Shoulder lock. Push him through, lifting up. Guide. And come back to this. All right? Any questions? Are we good? All right. This is the hardest part of the whole drill, is getting that turn. Thank you, Mike. You see these are all individual techniques, right? So everybody knows how to go to arm bar. Well, compress elbow. The guy's already standing here like this. Well, I'm just bending this into it. Boom. So I back into compress elbow. That's how you get into, one way to get into a compress elbow, right? The guy pushes. He pushes. Shoulder lock. I'm right into it. I'm back into it. But what's the common movement that I'm doing? I'm doing this. And where's going to be the end of the fight? That, every single time. So when you push again, please. You're right back into it to get into it. So that's a movement that you're doing over and over again. So once we get to mobility throw incorrect to continue to play, now is where you got to take your, is where the drill splits. If I don't want to continue to play a flowing drill, here's where you take and throw the guy to the ground and you do your ground techniques. We can work on that maybe later today or tomorrow. But there's your ground techniques. But I want us to continue to play. So, because, you know, we don't want to just do it one time. We got to be doing it over and over and over again. But that's how you get good at the transition. So you transition from here now. This is what Professor called a side-by-side backward throw, because I'm side-by-side and I would be throwing him backwards. So now we need to get back into the arm bar. So you just allow this to come back, but you help it out. Stick, back to arm bar. Back to compress. Shoulder lock. Mobility throw. Side by side. Move back. And again, don't do it with any type of real tension on the guy, because we want to do it over and over with each other. But this is how you learn how to do the flow drill. Natural way for him to get out, well, two ways for him to get out of arm bar is if before I get it locked on, bend his elbow and push his elbow back at me, right? So either way he does that, then I have two options. If I've grabbed properly here, you reach back down, grab lung 5, and step back out and do your throw. So I also practice doing this over and over again, because I'm letting go, but when it gets to where it's uncomfortable for me, I pop. Shoot in. This grab, I don't have to throw my guy to the ground all the time, because when he hits the ground, this is what pushed him to the ground. It's just a natural re-grab. So you just do it over and over and over again. So it's teaching you how to be exact on the points, how it feels, and it's teaching him exactly how it feels and the intent behind doing it. So then he's got this, or a natural thing for him to do is to bend his elbow and try to wiggle out, and that's where you do the pass. Professor liked to pass a lot of things, police. He liked to pass a lot of things and come back in and catch it. Can't do triple warmer when the elbow starts to be bent, so that's why he would lock in just before you got 90 degrees, lock in here, boom, shoot the guy back out. So now I've got compress. How does he get out of compress elbow? His body is down that direction. He wants to stay going there, but he tries to spin. So that means you got to get this part of the body up. No. If I'm doing this movement, natural spin, take your left arm like you're spinning towards my right leg here. That's a natural movement to try to get out. They bend the elbow and try to spin out of it. So I let him bend the elbow and spin out of it. You come back to this. So then from here, they want to go down, so you just allow them to. Come right back here to side-by-side throw. And then now from here, just nice and easy, rotate back, let this go, but push so you're sticking. Keep control. Bless you. Just flowing back and forth. Boom. So you get comfortable with it, right? Taking to the ground's a whole different ball game. So just go back and forth. Once you get lock into here, side-by-side throw, turn back to your opponent, but pivot in. Touch elbow, turn back, you're locked onto wrist, and you're right back into it. Natural movement, all right? Everybody do that and just flow from one to another. One correction, when you guys get into the side-by-side backward throw, don't grab like this. It's everybody's natural tendency to grab. We like to grab and lock onto things, but your thumb always gets in the way. Your thumb, when you're putting your hand in here, if you're doing this to somebody, I'm applying it. My thumb is in the way. Your thumb stops you from your full range of motion. When you're locked into here, it's on. I don't have any type. I've got all of that movement now. If I can't do this because my thumb is stuck on his hand, so I've only got like that. You understand? So that's the, when you move into this, you have to let this hand slide. But see that hole that you create? When you let that slide, as he's standing back up, you're to shoot through and pull right back to you. So you lock back in. Absolutely. Looks like just like the Hanji, doesn't it? So you lock back in here. Now there was a question on how to do the mobility throw properly. I'm going to do this quick, and then we are way over time. Mobility throw properly. Say the guy pushes at you. You just pop and pull down. This is the trick. That movement. So I've got to take his head and push it down as I'm lifting his arm up. But the natural place that your arms connect is at the elbow. So you really got a good torque right here with the elbow. So as I do this, I step back that direction and throw. So I'll do it slow. Hold on, what's going to be the best part for the camera here? Like this.
No ball spot.
They can cover it up. Okay. Tom works magic. So it's locked in like this. But look at the pressure. I'm dropping this foot back, but this hip is shifting forward. So if this hip is shifted forward, say that fast 5 times. This is my push hand because my hip is turning. So it's that move. You turn and get that person locked in. He wasn't really supposed to fall there, but here, lift up. You've got it hooked by the elbow. If you just held this here and ran that direction, he's going to roll over, right? But here, push and pull at the same time and step out of the way. And you're right back in and locked into it. So you're right back in for your movement. If I did this and dropped to a knee, you'll find this is going to be running running theme throughout the whole thing, right? I'm back into Pinion 5. So to do mobility throw properly, it's just getting this shift. You got to get out of the way, all right? So thank you very much. Okay.
As always, if you want to try these techniques at home, use caution. You want to make the technique work, but you don't want to injure your friend, and we're not responsible for any injuries that might occur. The signal to quickly release pressure is quick double tap. We love getting email from you. Send it to explorer@martialartsexplorer.tv. For Michael Kleinepier and Martial Arts Explorer, I'm Scott Combs.